We plug things in every single day without even thinking about it. But the system hiding behind that wall socket, it's one of the most powerful and honestly, potentially dangerous forces in our homes. So what if I told you that you could actually learn to see the invisible warning signs it gives off before disaster strikes? Well, in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to do that and truly shockproof your home. Take a look at this number, 0.1. It seems so small, right? Almost insignificant. A tiny little decimal. But when we're talking about the electricity that's flowing through your walls, that tiny fraction, it's everything. It is literally the line between something being safe and something being fatal. Because that's all it takes. Seriously, just 1/10 of an amp is enough current to disrupt the rhythm of your heart and stop it cold. They call it fatal fibrillation. And to put that into perspective for you, that's less current than what a lot of the small electronics you plug in every day use. This isn't just about preventing a fire. This is about life and death. So what makes electricity so dangerous? Well, for one, it's invisible, and most of us just don't know how to spot the signs of trouble. We see a simple outlet on the wall, but we don't see the incredible energy behind it, constantly searching for a path to the ground. And if you're not careful, that path could be you. So let's build a mental framework to help you see the unseen. To really spot the danger, we gotta quickly cover a little bit of science. There are just a few basic rules about how electricity works and why it's so incredibly harmful to the human body. Once you get these down, I promise you'll start to see your home's wiring in a completely new light. Okay, this part right here is absolutely crucial. I want you to think of electricity like water in a pipe. Voltage is the pressure that's pushing the water along. But it's the amount of water that's actually flowing, that's the current, and we measure it in amps, that has the real destructive force. You see, high voltage can give you a nasty jolt, for sure. But as you can see, it's the amps, the current, that's the real killer. And the damage it does isn't just one-dimensional. An electrical shock can, as we've said, stop your heart. But it can also paralyze your breathing muscles or cause unbelievably severe burns inside your body. And let's not forget about secondary trauma. The shock itself might just be enough to knock you off a ladder, and it's the fall that ends up being fatal. Now check this out. This number, 100 times, it highlights our single biggest vulnerability. Your dry skin actually provides a decent amount of resistance to electricity. But the second you get it wet, that protection just plummets by a factor of 100. All of a sudden, what might have been a minor shock becomes a life-threatening one. This is exactly why bathrooms and kitchens have such special safety rules. All right, enough of the theory, let's get practical. The good news here is that your house will almost always warn you before something goes terribly, terribly wrong. You just have to learn to speak its language. You have to learn how to spot those warning signs. This shows you the life cycle of most electrical fires. It is not some sudden explosion. It almost always starts with a small, loose connection. That connection then starts to heat up very slowly, and then it sends out those warning signs we talked about. The actual fire, that's the very last step. This slow burn means there are chances to intervene, but only if you know what to look for. So what are these signals? Well, you've got to use your senses. You might see your lights flickering. You might feel an outlet that's warm to the touch. You might smell a faint, persistent burning plastic odor. You might notice that the same breaker keeps tripping over and over. Or you might hear a strange buzzing coming from a light switch. Any one of these is your home screaming for help. These aren't just little quirks to ignore. They are urgent warnings. Okay, let's switch gears and tackle some of the most practical questions that you might have about the electrical system in your own home. These are the kinds of things that people tend to worry about the most. Ah, yes, the big one. I think pretty much everyone has seen their lights flicker at some point. So, the question is, when is it just a harmless little quirk? And when is it a sign of a really serious problem? Here's a really simple way to diagnose it. If your lights just dim for a quick second when a big appliance like your air conditioner or your fridge kicks on, that's usually just a normal voltage drop. No big deal. But if that flickering is happening all the time or it seems to be getting worse, that is a classic warning sign of a loose connection somewhere. And that's your cue to get it checked out by a pro. This is a huge concern, especially for anyone living in an older home. Is the wiring behind your walls basically a ticking time bomb? And how in the world are you supposed to know? Well, here are a few visual clues you can look for. If your home was built before 1980, pay close attention. See if you have an old-style fuse box instead of a modern breaker panel. Check your outlets. If they only have 2 prongs, that means they're not grounded, which is a key safety feature.
And if you ever see old, frayed, cloth-covered wiring in your attic or basement, that's an immediate red flag. Any of these signs mean it's time for a professional inspection, period.
Okay, so we've gone through the science, the warning signs, and some common questions. But really, it all boils down to this next point. If you remember absolutely nothing else from this explainer, please remember this. This is the single most important safety habit you can possibly adopt. So what is it? After everything we've just covered, what is that one rule that stands above all the others? It doesn't matter if you're a serious DIYer or you're just changing a light bulb. What is it? This is it. Test before you touch. Every single time. Never, ever assume a circuit is off just because you flipped a switch. Don't trust the label on a breaker panel. You can get a cheap voltage tester, and it takes 2 seconds to use it, and it removes all doubt. That one simple habit is the most powerful electrical safety tool you will ever own. Stay safe out there.